And I am recording it because we have a few people who are unable to attend who are going to watch it after the session. All right, so when we are delivering explicit instruction, we have those ingredients. If you remember, we talked about it that like a recipe. At the beginning, we are going to establish our learning target, and that's where the teacher is going to set the stage. She's going to go over the objectives. She's going to tie it to that prior learning experiences students had. That's kind of when she's captivating her audience and making sure they understand the goal for the lesson. And then we move into the we do part, and the we do part is where we're modeling. We are telling the student what to do, showing the student what to do, and we are going to talk them through what we hope they are thinking as they are completing the task. And then we move into that we do phase, which is where we're providing guided practice and scaffolding and prompting. The we do phase, the amount of time it takes is dependent on the students. We are going to monitor during that time. We're going to ask questions, and we're going to guide the students through it so that we can release them into the you do phase. And that's where we're putting the responsibility on them. We're going to continue to monitor students, but this is that opportunity for independent practice. And throughout this process, we adjust our teaching to match the needs of our students. So it really was the HLP where we focused on the I do, we do, sometimes you all do, and then you do. Here are our norms for the lab. When it is your turn, you will have your camera and microphone on. And when it's not your turn, please mute and turn off your microphone. That makes it easier for the students to know whose turn it is to present and where their focus should be. Between and after sessions, there will be time for questions and feedback. Please participate in the discussion. The Avatar Lab is a safe space. It's okay to make mistakes. Remember, the students aren't real, so you can always pause if you need to gather your thoughts. Give kudos to your peers using the chat box and have fun. This is our schedule for today. I am going to start us out with that opening and I do of the division lesson because our teacher who signed up was unable to make it today. And then we will have Shannon go and then Heather go. After that, we'll stop, we'll talk about it, and then we'll go into the Everglades lesson second. And we have Stephanie going, but unfortunately, and Philip may still be able to sign in, but he contacted me this morning. There's an issue with a student. So if he's back, he's going to go. And if not, then we'll talk through that part as well as the you do part because Kimberly is also unavailable today. Then for conjunctions, we'll have Janina go first. We have Tony signed up to go second. I haven't even checked to make sure everyone's here, but I'll check and make sure that they're here. The first one's just contacted me. He'll do the we do. We'll talk through the you do, and then we're going to close out with theme, and that's going to be Samantha, Mariah, and then Asfia. If you have questions before your turn, just remember before you enter the lab, you can kind of ask me, but we'll have a few minutes to talk between each lesson just to make sure that we're on track. And then before we leave today, I will give you again the date for the next session, and I will be sending out lesson plans and sign up within a week so that you guys have over a month to prepare for the next session. If you need to see this schedule again, it might be a good idea to just snap a picture with your phone or take a screenshot. That is what I have. I have it pulled up.
I print a copy of it.
Perfect. Thank you. Welcome, Tony.
Welcome.
In a minute.
I have a question.
Yes?
Could we have like a little example of how it's going to go before we actually go into it?
So I am actually going to start out the opening and I do of this division lesson. And I'm actually working from home, so I don't have my board today. So I did it with a slide, which you all will be welcome to do in the future. But hopefully that'll be a good example of how it'll go because I'll be doing it. And then we can pause and talk about it before we move into Shannon.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and the same goes, anyone who didn't attend the first session, I know this will be your first time in the lab unless you participated this summer when we did it all together. So please don't be stressed about it. It is just, it's an activity, low risk because the students are not real and we are all in this together. It was very awkward for me when I started. I've kind of gotten used to it now because this is my third year doing it, but we're all in the same boat as far as this being new with all of our participants. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. And I go first, so I will get started. Bennett, can you see me? Okay, just a quick reminder to everyone who is not presenting, if you could turn your cameras off. All right, and Bennett, I think you might be muted.
Are correct.
So you can see me?
Yes, I can see and hear you.
All right. Start simulation.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Nice to see you too.
My name is Miss Major, and I am going to be doing a lesson with you all this morning. It is on division. And the first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the scenario that I describe. I have 6 gloves. How many pairs can I make? Keep the image in your head and think about how you came up with the answer. All right, you can open your eyes. When we set up a division problem, we have 3 different parts, and we talked about those in the past, but the 3 parts are going to be our dividend, our divisor, and our quotient. The divisor is going to be what we are dividing by. Our dividend is the number that we're going to be dividing up into parts, and our quotient is the answer to the problem. So let's think about that scenario again. And here we have our 6 gloves. 6 is our dividend because that's what we're dividing up. We have 6 gloves to divide into pairs of gloves. So if 6 is our dividend, what do you think we're dividing by? And someone can raise their hand. Yes, Mina.
We're dividing by the by 2 because that's how many hands that we have.
You're right. So a pair is 2, and we have 2 hands. So our divisor is going to be 2. you did a great job using your reasoning skills to think, oh, two hands, two makes a pair, so two is what we're going to be dividing by. So 6 divided by 2 equals blank. The
Oh,
quotient,
I
the
I know
quotient's
that.
going to go in the blank. So what do you think the quotient is, Carlos?
Oh, well, the answer is 3.
You're right. The quotient is 3 because we have 3 pairs of gloves. Because gloves are something we see all the time, at least if we live in a cold climate and we know we have 2 hands. That's why I had you imagine it in your head. Sometimes when we're dividing, things are easy to kind of think about in our heads. So we are going to do another problem. And this time I have 10 stars that I would like to divide into 5 equal groups. To set up my division problem, I will write 10 first because 10 is my dividend. I know that I have 10 stars that I need to split up, and I have 5 groups. 5 is going to be my divisor because that is my number of groups. So to divide them up, I am going to count my stars and put 1 per group and then repeat until I'm out of stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my quotient is going to be how many stars are in each group. So I'll just look at one group and count 1, 2. So what is my quotient, Will?
2.
2. Perfect. Stop simulation. All right, you all, I had time to prepare for that because I have done this lesson before and because I knew I was working from home today and didn't have my board, I prepared slides. The expectation is not that you prepare slides unless in the future you feel like slides would help you. You can also use a whiteboard, you can use chart paper, you can create any kind of visuals that are needed, but visuals aren't needed for every lesson. It just depends on the lesson that we're doing. But I went through the opening, which is when they had their eyes closed, and then I modeled during that I do phase. Are there any questions?
So if you don't have any visuals today,
That's totally fine. Every lesson doesn't need visuals. And if you have a whiteboard and you want to just use a little whiteboard to write things down and help, that can be helpful, but it really just depends on the lesson and the students. These lesson plans are almost scripted, so you can go through the plan and just know that you can add things if you need to, but it is not required. We do submit the lesson plans in advance, so the students have, if it says there's a worksheet or it says there's problems, they have those to look at.
No, this is another teacher.
And somebody needs to mute.
Real quick.
Let's see. Lisa, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Mrs. Lee is having difficulty connecting the audio. I can see a message that says it's connect. She said she was not connected. She was not sure if her mic was on. Miss Lee, do you want to say something so we can tell if your microphone is on?
Miss Lee, can you hear us? Yeah, she may still be having problems this morning. All right, well, we have Shannon next on the agenda, and then we will have Heather. Remember, if it is not your turn, to have your camera off. And then also just remember to give kudos in the chat box. Remember our recent training on giving feedback. And we are going to get started whenever you're ready, Shannon.
I think Samantha had a question real quick. I just saw her hand come up.
All right, I'm sorry, I did not see it. Go ahead, Samantha.
No. Yes, I am so sorry, but this is my first session and I do not remember how to enter to the Avatar Lab.
Okay, so when you get started, you are going to say, Bennett, can you hear me? Bennett, can you see me? And then are you ready to begin? And that's going to allow him to do a tech check since we are not all in the right or in the same place.
Okay, I just thought we had to click something. I did know we had to say those. I had to say those things. I thought we had to
No,
click
you
a
don't.
button.
You don't have to click anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bennett, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Bennett, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Enter simulation. Hi, class. So I have
Hi.
shown you,
Hello.
have shown you how I divided 10 into 5 equal groups using a model. I've also showed you how to use your knowledge of the terms dividend and divisor to set up a division problem, and then count objects on our model to solve for the quotient. Now let's do another problem together. This time I have 15 hearts and need 3 equal groups. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what the dividend is?
I think
Jayla?
I know. The dividend is the number that that you're taking things from. So it's the big number.
Okay, so we have 15 hearts and we
Then
need 3 equal groups.
So 15 is the dividend.
Perfect. Yes, 15 would be your dividend. So now we're going to be dividing 15 by 3. Is 3 my quotient or my divisor? Raising your hand, who thinks 3 is the quotient?
Quotient. I think it might be the quotient.
Or do you think 3 is the divisor?
I think it's the divisor.
Okay, perfect. 3 is the divisor. So 3 is going to be your divisor. So now we're going to draw a model. So how many circles do I need to draw if we're dividing 15 hearts into 3 groups? How many circles should we draw?
There should be 3 circles.
Perfect. So I'm going to draw 3 circles. Okay, so here are 3 circles. So now, what am I going to do to find my answer or quotient? We're going to put we're going to draw a heart in each circle as we count to 15, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so here are our 15 hearts. Can someone tell me how many hearts are in each group?
I see.
Emily?
Can I? There's 3 in each.
look at the number of hearts that are in each group. We have 3 groups. Our 3 circles are
Oh.
each groups.
Oh, that I couldn't see because it was small. There's 5 in each.
Sorry. Oh, yes, perfect. There are 5 in each group. So that 5 is our quotient. So we have 15 hearts in 3 groups. So can someone give me a mathematical sentence for this scenario? Mina?
I think it would be that 15 15 divided by 3 is 5.
Yes,
That was
awesome.
the-
Great job, Mina.
Thank
So
you.
that would be our mathematical sentence. All right, stop simulation.
Great job, Shannon. You did a really nice job scaffolding when students were stuck and giving some choices and prompts. And I love how you talked through while you were modeling to show them the steps that you were doing. How did it feel?
It was kind of weird. Like I noticed I had apologized because it was small, but I feel like that's just a natural thing because I was trying to use the whiteboard. So I think in the future, I did like how you use the slides. I think that would have made it easier for me too.
Yeah,
And make
I
it
just-
feel a little bit more natural, I guess, that way.
yeah. If you taught during virtual, I got a little bit more natural using my slides
Right.
kind of as a whiteboard. But I just happen to not have a whiteboard at the
Right.
house today.
And I just
So-
happened to see this sitting here. So I'm like, okay, I'll use that.
Yep. So, yeah, I think you made it work. And if we were in real life, your students would have been able to see it in a small group.
Right,
So,
right.
that just happens because you're kind of trying to hold it at a computer and the angle isn't great. But I think you did a really nice job. You have some feedback also in the chat box here. Lots of it. It says, I like that you apologize for the size. Great job working slowly through each step with the students. It was good that you showed that you understood she needed something more. Great step-by-step modeling and scaffolding. Your speed was great. This was great. I love that you used the whiteboard. It would be great for small groups and one-on-one. Thank you, Shannon. Modeling with the use of circles and hearts was the perfect for the we do portion. You also did a great job reflecting regarding what you'll do differently next time. So awesome job. Awesome
Thank
job.
you.
All right. I am going to go ahead and mute myself, and Heather, when you're ready, go ahead and enter the lab.
Bennett, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Heather.
Bennett, can you see me?
And I can see you as well. I sure can. Yes.
Enter the lab. Now I'm going to give you a set of 3 problems to solve on your
Hi.
own. Good morning. You're going to use this
Good
scenario
morning.
to set. Good morning. How are you?
I'm really good today. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now I'm going to give you a set of 3 problems to solve on your own. You're going to use the scenario to set up your problem. Now you will draw a model you will use to solve it. After you solve, write a mathematical sentence. I am going to walk by and check in while you're working. Raise your hand if you need any help. Let's look back at our essential questions. How can you use a word problem to set up a division equation? How can you write a mathematical sentence to represent and divide a division model we have made? To set up a division question, we need to identify the dividend and divisor. This lets us know how many circles to draw and how many objects or pictures to divide into these circles. Once we solve the problem, we can write a sentence by thinking about division as an amount of objects split into equal number of groups. Now, do you remember the 15 parts? Good. Now, what did we divide it by?
I remember. Yeah. That was
Do you remember?
by 3.
Right, correct, Carlos. So when we put the 3 circles, we had to put 15 hearts divided between each circle, correct? You can tell me how many was in each circle. Will, thank you for raising your hand.
I remember. There were 5 in each circle.
Very good, correct. There were 5 parts in each circle. Does anyone have any questions? Can someone read your sentence for a problem?
I read a sentence.
Oh, could I see your hands, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mina. Thank you. Now, could you tell me your sentence, please?
My sentence is that that 15 divided by 3 is 5.
Very good. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you.
In stimulation.
No.
Right. I like how you had them go back and look at previous assignments and you gave them feedback. How did it feel for you?
It seemed a little weird because it seemed like it was like a delay. So I felt like I had to respond again after I had said something because they were delayed. I don't know if that's my computer or not.
It may have been. I think that you compensated for that okay. I mean, in real life, sometimes our kids require wait time or they might interrupt. And so I think you handled it well. Sometimes tech doesn't always agree with us perfectly. You have some feedback in the chat box as well. It says, I like that you praised for the specific task of raising his hand again for the correct answer. Seems like they are delayed in responding. So she noticed that as well. I like that you praised for the task of raising their hand. Thanks, Heather. Thanking him for raising his hand was a reminder for others regarding the expected procedures for answering. Great job with your pacing. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks. And there's some more feedback coming in the chat box, so just check it out. We are going to move into the Everglades lesson plan. And it looks like we only have you, Stephanie. So you are going to do that opening and the I do. I'm just going to quickly talk about the we do and you do phase for the sake of time. And then we will move into the next lesson. And I am sorry about that. But I think this lesson opens up well. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Good morning. Bennett, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Bennett, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Are you ready to begin simulation?
I am.
Good morning, class. Good morning, Emily,
Good morning.
Will,
Hi.
Carlos, Jada.
Good morning.
Did I
Hi.
miss anyone?
Oh. Hi.
Hi, it's good to see you
Amina.
guys.
That's me.
Oh, hey, Amina. Good to
Hi.
see you.
Thank you.
So, if you remember, my
Hello.
name is Mrs. Wynn,
Hi.
and today we're going to talk about the Everglades. Do you remember the Everglades? We read a book about that not too long ago. Let me see if I can share.
Yep.
Good. Okay, let's see if I can share that cover with you. I'm not sure. Are you able to see what I'm sharing?
I remember it. It was fun to read.
Good. So listen, I want you to tell me about, let's see if you remember some of the vocabulary words that we learned with that book. Do you remember this word? Will,
Yeah, I remember that one. Mhm.
can you, can you give me a quick sentence
Yeah,
using that word?
I remember.
What's that word?
I pondered.
Yes, say it again.
So a sentence pondered.
Very good. So could you please give me a quick sentence? What does pondered mean?
It means to think about it, but to think about it really hard.
Okay. Yeah. So if I give you this example, I pondered if it would be safe to swim in the Everglades. Do you think it would be safe to swim in the Everglades?
Oh.
I'm not sure about that one.
No, you shouldn't swim there because there's alligators and snakes.
Oh, wow.
Right?
No, I don't think that would be too good, would it? Let's see. Who is that? Carlos? Can you tell me what this word means? Are you able to read it?
Scurried is yes, it's a scurried.
And can you give me a sentence using the
Scurried
words?
is what like a little. Oh, the insects scurried across the leaves.
Right. So kind of like when the mice run across the Everglades, they scurry across quickly. Good job. How about this one?
Yes, they run quickly.
Amina, can you see this word?
Yes.
What does that?
Myriad.
Yes,
Myriad.
yes. Can you give me a sentence using the word
It
myriad?
there are myriad well, the Everglades is home to a myriad of animals. There are
Yes,
so
great
many.
job. Great job. Yes, there are so many, and I love the fact that you all remembered those words. So now, if we could just quickly just take a moment and close our eyes. I want you to just think calmly and close your eyes. And I want you to just picture what it actually looked like in that book. I want you to keep in your head, close your eyes. I want you to keep an image in your mind
Well,
as I want you to keep an image in your mind of what it actually looked like in the Everglades. Do you have that picture in your mind? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I think someone was trying to tell me something. Who was trying to say something?
That was me. But we may not. You may not see us closing our eyes, but we're still thinking quietly about it when you ask us to close our eyes.
Thank you. Now, will you please open your eyes? And was that you, Emily? I'm having a hard time seeing this morning. Was that you, Emily?
That was me. Yeah. Yes,
So
that was me.
can you tell me the picture that you have in your mind about the Everglades? What does it look like to you?
There's lots of trees and water, and there's animals and lots of birds, and some of them are flying in, and some of them are sitting in the trees, and there's alligators and moths hanging from the trees, and little animals like mice. And there's just so much.
I love it. I love it. When you describe the Everglades, you make it so vivid and it's almost like it comes to life for me. Can someone else please tell me what their picture looks like in their
Yes.
mind? Go ahead.
I see lots of trees too. And there's water. And I see people. Some people are exploring. In my mind, there are scientists, and they are looking at different animals, and they are studying different plants, and they're learning a lot about all of the life that's in the Everglades because there's so much.
It is. I totally agree with you. The sawgrass is beautiful and long, and there's so many different creatures for us to explore. And I believe, as you, that there are so many scientists there that are actually just learning about all the different creatures that are there. Let's see. Will, would you like to share?
Mhm. Um, yeah, I like the alligators, um, because there are a lot of gators and snakes, and I like gators and snakes, and they all live there together. And not all the snakes are poisonous, um, but they live in the water and around the water, and the snakes eat the mice, and some snakes eat fish, and then the alligators eat some of the snakes.
So now I remember from my last time giving you guys an example, I used the word enormous. So I'm just thinking about what the word enormous
Yeah.
means, as far as it's relating to kind of like what you said, the snakes and things of that matter. I guess,
Mhm.
can you give me, hmm, let's see. Would you say that the word enormous describes how some of those animals and creatures are in the Everglades? What does enormous mean?
Well, yeah. Yeah, an alligator can be enormous, really, really big. Some of them can get to like 10 feet long. Um, and they're really big. If they're really old, then they're enormous because they
Right.
just keep getting bigger.
So we can also say there's an enormous amount of sawgrass within the Everglades, correct? Yes?
Yeah, that's right, because that's what most of the yes.
Okay, so Miss Wynn is going to do a quick draw of what the sawgrass looks like. So I know I'm not really an artist, but just bear with me and just go along with me. So I'm just pretending. That's what the sawgrass looks like. So it's an enormous amount of sawgrass. Next time I will have my slides up so that I can show you guys a picture of the Everglades. Are there any questions? No? Okay, so we're going to go on to our next step.
Oh.
Bennett, stop simulation, please.
Great job, Stephanie. And you actually covered a little bit of what the people who aren't here today did. So that's great with the vocabulary. So you've got lots of great feedback here in the chat box. I will go through it. It says, I love how you're showing them the words to help them remember. I love how you ask the students to use their imagination and connect the vocabulary to the words. I agree. I think it was great to provide the visual to jog their memories on vocabulary from the story. Also, nice job providing lots of OTRs. Stephanie, great job connecting with students throughout the lesson, activating prior knowledge, listening carefully to student responses, and providing that clarity and reinforce the vocabulary terms. I love the use of visual imagery and your positive, relevant responses that promote deeper understanding. And your tone was such that the students would be totally convinced that you wanted to hear about the picture in their mind. Also, you did not allow the students to interject until you were ready. You made an effort to include all students. You did a good job on vocabulary development with the use of examples. Wonderful job, very thorough.
Thank you.
You are so, so welcome. So you all, the rest of this lesson, it's a really great lesson. It's an exemplar from the developers of the program. They have the students draw a picture of physical characteristics from the Everglades and write words on the pictures that relate to those vocabulary terms. And then they have them use those words in sentences to ensure that they're not just memorizing the meanings. And then there's some scaffolds provided to the students. And then in closing, they have the students talk about what they drew and how it connects to that vocabulary. So as you see, an explicit instruction lesson doesn't always have to be like the division lesson that's just very straightforward. It can still be something that is using our imaginations and imagining and fun, but we're tying it back to that content. And you did a great job of that with opening with that vocabulary to preview it. So that is fantastic. All right. All right. So next, we have the conjunctions lesson. And on the agenda for that, we have Janina doing the opening and the I do. And then Tony is going to do the we do part. And then I'll just quickly talk us through the closing because no one signed up for that one. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my video and mute myself. And whenever you're ready, Janina.
Bennett, can you hear me?
Janina, I think you're muted.
Yep, I was. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Bennett, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Starts
Loud
me.
and clear. Yes, I can.
Thank you. Good morning, guys. I want you to do something special for me this morning, okay? I want you guys to close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. And I want you to think about your favorite sandwich. Just think about it, okay? Okay, now open your eyes. So Miss Morel likes peanut butter and jelly, okay? But when we think about conjunctions and we try to think about which conjunction to use, we have to think about how to put those two together. So I could think I like peanut butter and jelly, or I could think peanut butter or jelly. Have you guys ever been unsure about whether to use and or? Yeah, Jayla? Thank you guys for your responses.
Yeah.
It can be really, really hard to think about which one to use. So today's lesson is going to focus on coordinating conjunctions, or what we like to call fanboys. Each letter of fanboy stands for a different word. Yeah, fanboys. So now that you think about, that's a silly word, right? So we're gonna think, okay, what does the F stand for? It stands for for. The A is and, the N is nor, the B is but, the O is or, the Y is yet, and the S is so. Okay, you guys can write that down, but I will definitely show it to you throughout the day and we'll print it out, okay? Awesome. So I'm gonna write two sentences, or I'm gonna show you two sentences. The first one is Maria loves ice cream. The next one is she is also lactose intolerant. Now, if I want, both sentences talk about the same thing, correct? Or the same noun, right? We just changed it to a pronoun. Instead of saying Maria the noun, we now use the pronoun she. So we're talking about the same person in both sentences. Now, in order for our writing to be a little bit more concise and clear, we can combine these two sentences. So instead of saying one sentence and then the other, we combine them because it's a contrast. We're going to use the word but. So Maria loves ice cream, but she's lactose intolerant. Do you guys understand why I use the word but? Yes? Awesome. So,
yeah.
All right. So I'm going, as you guys saw earlier, like I said, I like peanut butter and I like jelly. So I could have I can either choose one or the other, or I could put them together and have both. Do you guys see what I did there? Awesome. Do you guys have any questions about fanboys or coordinating conjunctions? No? Fantastic. All right. We're going to go into the next lesson. No? Will, do you have a question?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
I thought you should.
No, but I have a cousin who will only eat jelly. No, he'll only eat jelly sandwiches, but not peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which is kind of funny.
So in his case, it would be, would you want peanut butter or jelly? And he would say, just jelly. So while I like peanut butter and jelly together,
Just jelly.
He wants one. So you can see that there's that contrast, which is why he used or and I used and. Awesome. Thank you. Or comparison, not contrast. Very good. I love it. Fantastic. Does anyone else have any questions? No? Fantastic. All right. Bennett, stop simulation.
How did that feel? Did it feel like a little more natural this time?
Yes, definitely more natural than the last time. It was the only part that was hard was the fact that since I did these boards instead of actually using a PowerPoint, or I originally wrote it on my board, but there was no way they were going to see it that far away. So then I did it on my whiteboards, but it was hard when I was doing that peanut butter and jelly or jelly comparison. But had I had peanut butter and jelly on the whiteboard, on the actual board itself, and then the and or was just on the little one, it would have been a little bit easier since I don't have 3 hands, but it was definitely a lot more natural.
Good. I'm glad. And like I said before, with the visuals, it's not always going to be perfect because we're in person and they're on the computer, but I think you did a great job with it. And just everyone, a reminder that we do send the lesson there in advance. So they will ask to see it if they can't see it, but sometimes they do have access to like see the lesson at least.
Gotcha. Okay,
So
cool.
you do have some feedback. It says, Danita, your instruction was very clear and concise. Great use of multiple boards to demonstrate and model how to use a CJ.
Coordinating.
Or conjunction. Coordinated. Okay. You took the student's example and modeled the appropriate way to write the sentence. I loved your clear and simple instruction and use of the whiteboard. Good job. I love the interaction with the kids and how they were able to interact and apply to their lives. Good job using his comment as an example and nice use of your visuals. Very clear instruction.
Thank you, guys.
Great.
Hey, Miss Amanda,
Yes.
I have a question. Hey, for my part, for the student worksheet you do, did you want me to read one of the paragraphs to them and then ask them any questions about that?
Look at it real quick. Yeah, so when they get to the you do, they'll have it in front of them so
Okay.
they can kind of do it, but you'll go through it with them together afterwards.
Okay.
So you just give them like a fake little bit of time to work on it, not how long it would take real students to do it.
You go through all 3 of them?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. So
Okay.
whenever you are ready, you can go ahead and Turn your camera on, and I am going to turn mine off.
Okay. Good morning, Bennett. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
Good morning, Bennett. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Start simulations. Good morning, class. How's everyone doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Mina.
I'm
Good
very
morning,
well, thank you.
Mina.
How are you?
I'm doing very good. Good morning, Jayla.
Hey.
Good morning, Emily.
Hi, good morning.
And good morning, Carlos.
Good morning. Good morning.
Earlier, Miss Miro talks about conjunctions. Do you anybody know what a conjunction is? Can someone tell me what a conjunction is?
It's a word where you put two words together, or two parts of a sentence together, and you combine them with a conjunction.
Okay, good, good. Anyone else? Anyone else can name your conjunction for me? Just name one for me.
There are and is a
Okay,
conjunction.
and good, very good. Anyone else can name one for me?
Or is a useful one.
Oh, it's very good, very good. And there's a few others, like yet and but. Those are also conjunctions. Now, what we're going to do today in our lesson is that we're going to have two sentences, and we're going to put them together with a conjunction. Okay, so here's the first sentence. I love basketball and I can jump high. So just think about that for a minute, how we can put that together. Those two sentences. I love basketball. I jump high. I can jump high. Can you put those together for me? How will we use a conjunction to put those together? Yes, Will.
I like basketball, and I can jump high.
Perfect. I love basketball and I can jump high. Does anyone else have any other version that you could say about those two sentences, put them together with a conjunction? Anyone else? But there's a very good example though, Will. Yes?
Yeah, because you'd be really good at basketball if you can jump high.
That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Thank you, Will, for that response. All right, next, here's two more sentences. It says, I love working with animals. I want to be a veterinarian. Just think about that. I love working with animals and I want to be a veterinarian. Okay, so how will we put those two sentences together? What conjunction will we use to put those two sentences together? Okay, Emily. Yes, ma'am.
I would say I love animals, so I want to be a veterinarian.
Okay. I love animals, so I want to be a veterinarian. Very good.
And I want to be.
Oh, and I want to be a veterinarian. That's very good too. Yes, yes, absolutely. Anyone else? Anyone else? How else will we put those two sentences together? Yes, Carlos.
You might say because. Oh, but because I love I love animal. No, I want to be a veterinarian because I love animals.
Okay, that's another one. That's very good. I love animals. I want to be a veterinarian. Very good. That's very good. All right, now, so anybody got any questions on using conjunctions and combine two sentences together? Okay, very good. Now, for your student on worksheet, we have 3 paragraphs to read, okay? And the first one is a donkey, a fox, and a lion. And then we're going to talk about the theme of each story. Can anybody tell me what theme means?
Pause simulation real quick. Hey, Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you're looking at the theme lesson. You don't have, when you asked me, I told you the wrong thing. So you were asking me about whether they needed to do that worksheet. That's going to be the next person. So you don't have to do that worksheet.
Okay.
On the conjunctions, you're just going to have them combine those 3 pairs of sentences right there. So and actually that's the you do part that no one signed up for. So you can kind of just summarize the conjunctions. You don't have to move into the next part, and then I'll take over.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Okay. So we have 2 sentences. So I have one more for y'all. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Okay. Here's our
we're ready.
Here's our third one. John is a smart student. John turned in all his classwork on time. John is a smart student. John turned his classwork on time. So those 2 sentences, how will we put those together with a conjunction? What conjunction will be used to put those 2 sentences together? How will we do that?
You could do you could use for or because John is a good student because he turns the work in on time, or John is a good student for he turns it in on time. But that doesn't sound as good as because.
Well, either one of them works, actually. Either one of them work. John is a smart student and he turned his works on time, or John is a smart student because he turned his works on time. Anybody else have any response? That's a very good answer. Jayla, thank you. Anybody else have any kind of response to that?
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Mimi?
You could say so John is a good student, so he turns his work in on time.
Okay. All right. That's another good version of it. Sounds very good. It looks like everyone has a good idea of how using conjunctions, taking 2 sentences and join them together with a conjunction. Very good. Thank you so much, class, for today's lesson in simulations.
Great job, Tony. How'd that feel?
Feel very good. I feel like I was in front of the in a classroom with my students. Even though I teach mathematics instead, but this is good for me.
Good. I am so glad. You've got some feedback here in the chat box. It says, I love that you asked them about Miss Murrell's lesson by name, so it reminded them of me, and now they're thinking back to the lesson. You then wrote your example similar to hers, so that they would have their brains connecting them like they did. The fact that it was a different conjunction was perfect because now they are thinking about those fanboys. While 2 teachers don't teach the same, I believe repetition is key. So it being written similarly is so beneficial. And she's a GAA teacher. So she said, especially for her students. Also, it says, Tony, excellent use of relevant examples like basketball and writing the sentence to provide visual backup and engage multiple modalities. I love that you had them demonstrate that there's more than one correct answer. Also, I'm sorry for the confusion about the you do part. And then I like how you greeted each student and called them by name before you asked them to put sentences together with a conjunction. You checked to make sure they remembered what a conjunction was. Your choice of topics for sentences made the learning relevant for the students. You were very comfortable with the students. I would love to see you in your classroom. I love the interaction. So great job. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you all, and since we didn't have someone to close that lesson out, just know that the you do part, they were given 3 to do on their own, and in closing it, they reviewed the answers and just summed it up with the statement of, I'm going to read it. When you put 2 sentences together, you can use words like and, but, or because. The words you choose depend on what you want to say. Practice will help you get better at picking the right word. And then finishing it out, giving them some feedback, which all of you did a great job giving them feedback. So we have one more lesson, and it is theme. And we are going to have Samantha do the opening and the I do. And then Mariah, are you on today? I don't see her on. All right, so after Samantha, I will actually jump on and talk us through the we do, and then Asfia will close us out with the you do and the closing. So whenever you are ready, Samantha.
Okay, Bennett, can you see me?
Yes, I can, Samantha.
Bennett, can you hear me? Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I can.
Okay, start simulation.
I am.
Good morning, class. How's everyone doing this morning?
Good morning.
I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Very well. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. This week, we have been talking about short stories and poems, and we've been talking about what the main idea of a story is. Does anyone remember what that's called? Oh, yes, Mina. What is that called?
I remembered it was the theme.
That is right. It is called a theme. That's correct. So what we're going to do this morning is Miss Cook is going to read a story to everyone, and we're going to talk about what that theme is of that story. So we're going to continue that. Miss Cook's going to read a story by an author named Shel Silverstein, and we're going to work to understand the theme of that story. When we understand how the main idea of a story, it helps us become better readers. And when we become better readers, it helps us increase our comprehension level. Who knows what comprehension level means? That's a big word. Sometimes that's a hard word to understand. I gave you a clue right there.
You said it, it's understand.
That's right. That's a great job. Comprehending means to understand a story. So we have to comprehend it to understand it. So we're going to work on identifying. The first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to read a story named The Giving Tree. It's kind of a long story, but I want you to listen to it, okay? Here we go. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the little boy would come and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved her tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money." I'm sorry, said the tree, but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, said he, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy. And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy. I am too busy to climb trees, said the boy. I want a house to keep me warm, he said. I want a wife and I want children. And so I need a house. Can you give me a house? I have no house, said the tree. The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy. And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy, but the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. Come, boy, she whispered. Come and play. I am too old and sad to play, said the boy. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree. Then you can sail away and be happy. And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. I am sorry, boy, said the tree, but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples, said the boy. My branches are gone, said the tree. You cannot swing on them. I am too old to swing on branches, said the boy. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. I am too tired to climb, said the boy. I am sorry, sighed the tree. I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I'm sorry. I don't need very much now, said the boy. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest. And the boy did, and the tree was happy. What do you all think about that story?
It's a little sad, but also happy.
That's right, Mina. It is sad and happy. It has good parts and sad parts and happy parts. Does anybody else have anything they want to say about it before I talk about it?
The boy and the tree were always connected because of what they shared and how the tree shared and gave him stuff at
That's
different
right.
times in his life.
That's right. They are connected and they shared with each other. Was the boy always nice to the tree?
No, because he stayed away. And the tree gave him everything, but then the boy didn't always spend time with the tree like the tree wanted.
That's right. That's right. So if we think about the parts of a tree, the tree had apples and leaves and limbs and a trunk. And that tells us a lot of the themes of the story. The boy kept taking the parts of the tree. He was kind of stingy and he always wanted more and more from the tree. But the tree gave. She continuously gave because she loved him. So there were things called explicit themes. The explicit themes are the main, some of the main ideas. Main ideas that are explicit are things that are very obvious from a story. They're things that we don't have to think too much about. They're very easy to understand. And then there are some ideas that we have to infer. So explicit ideas from this story could be that there are parts of a tree that the tree gave, just like you said, Will. And then that they are growing up together. The tree got older, the boy got older. They went through things called rites of passage. The tree helped the boy when he was in need. That the tree gave its parts, and that you give to others when they're in need. And that we can give to each other until you have nothing left. And then the inferred themes could be things that the tree acted like a family member to the boy, didn't he? Anybody see that? Yes, Mina, good job.
Yeah.
What about unconditional love? That tree loved the boy unconditionally and was willing to do anything for him. Greediness is something that we could infer. The boy always wanted more, like we were talking about. Reciprocated love. The tree gave love that he wanted from the boy, but the boy only gave love occasionally to the tree. There were character flaws that we had to infer from the story. The boy was not what we wanted to see all the time. We wanted the boy to love the tree. But these are all things that were easy to see overall. This is a complicated story. So we have to think about this as a whole to find the central and overarching or big theme of the story. The author's big message of the story is that the boy and the tree share a strong relationship. And even though the boy didn't spend his whole life with the tree, he did come back over and over and knew that the tree would always be there for him. So we see that each character's needs change over time, and their understanding of what love is changes and grows. Does anybody have any questions about that before we go on and we work on that together? No questions?
No.
Okay. Next up, we're going to do it together. Stop simulation.
All right, great job. You had kind of a long part and you did a really good job with it. You've got a lot of good feedback here. It says, I love what you did there when you said, do you understand, i.e. the comprehension. I love how you gave them a clue. Great, immediate and specific praise. I like that you asked for students' reactions to the story before explaining it yourself, allowing them to draw their own conclusions. I like how you let the students speak about the story and how it made them feel during parts of the story. You explained how identifying the theme will help the reader understand the story. Your questions led students to think critically, and they did. Your development of discussion of explicit themes added rigor to the lesson. Samantha, I like how you check their understanding of what comprehension means. The read aloud of the Giving Tree was so engaging. Great modeling of reading with prosody, which is so important for students. Good listening to student responses and providing feedback that validated their input and further developed their understanding of the theme. Excellent use of literal and inferential questions. Critical thinking promoted through your effective questioning. Great speed when explaining. I like the voices in the story. I like that you made sure hard words were understood.
Oh,
How did it feel?
Honestly, much better than I expected. It wasn't. Yes.
Good. All right. So we don't have the person who is going to do the we do part, but during the we do part, there were some questions for the students, and you actually included lots of questions in your I do part. So I really feel like you did a great job with it. But there were just some planned questions to kind of guide that discussion before they moved into independent practice. So Asphia, you are going to be our final presenter, and whenever you are ready, just turn on your camera and unmute and get started with Bennett.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, 1 second.
Good morning.
Hey, Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, I
Start
can.
simulation. Good morning, everyone. How are you today?
I sure can.
Uh-huh. How are you, Mina? Nice to
I'm
meet you
good. How
all.
are you?
I'm
I'm
fine, absolutely.
I'm
How about
very well,
Will?
thank you.
How about Jella, Emila, and Carlos? Nice to see you all.
I'm good.
How are you today,
Um,
Carlo?
Hi. Good
Wow,
morning.
good morning.
Hello. I'm fine, thank you.
Well, that's great. So we listen a long story. I hope you all like it. What's the best part you like about the story about the giving a tree? What did you like the most?
I liked when they were playing together at the beginning when the boy spent a lot of time with the tree and the tree was really happy and so was the boy. That was my favorite part.
Wow, great. The tree loved the boy. Yeah, that's true. And always they were talking about giving something unconditionally, right? Did you see the story? How it affectionately, how you without any you know, you're so much in a position of giving something to your friends or your family. What you think? I actually like the more about uh the way the tree has helped and make everyone feel loved. Right, Jella? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that the tree was able to give the boy everything that he needed in his life, and when he grew up, he needed a
Mm-hmm.
house, and so the tree was able to give him the wood for the house, and then when he needed a boat, it was
But
able to give him the wood for the boat, and then apples when he needed for money. So the tree was able to give the boy everything that he needed.
absolutely fantastic. Great job for participation by Jella. And I want Mina to say, like, how did you feel like someone betray you or betraying a friend and you feel hurt, right? So, can you just give me an example if you have? That is not good, betraying to someone. So,
From the
story, yeah,
from
what you can
the
relate to that,
story, or from my life. Well,
your
Well,
own life.
because
Did
the
you
boy
ever?
got everything from the tree, but then he didn't. Oh, my own life. Well, I mean, my little sister,
Mm-hmm.
she told my mom that I had taken some of the Halloween candy,
All
and
right.
then I got in
That's a good
trouble.
example. Yeah,
Um,
you can relate to your
so
actual.
I mean,
Huh, right,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And the third, I can say that. Will, can you just tell me about the revenge does not pay. It may hurt the people, right? So it's better to forgive people and be nice to everybody. What do you think about that?
Well, well, yeah. I mean, you're not supposed to. I mean, if somebody makes you mad, it doesn't really help to get mad back at them. Or if they do something like if they hit you with the softball, you shouldn't like throw the softball back at them. Because
Mm-hmm.
that just makes everybody angry.
Angry, absolutely. I agree with you. How about Carlos? The boy was selfish, always taking from the tree and give nothing in return. Is that a right way he did or no? What do you think about that? Can you put some highlight? Can you highlight on this,
No,
please?
he shouldn't have done that. He Oh, he shouldn't have done that. He should have spent more time with the tree because that's what the tree really wanted. And at the
Yeah.
end, the tree was happy because the boy
Mm-hmm.
would sit with him, and they were spending all their time together just like they did when the boy was younger. And he should have spent more time with the tree because the tree was really nice to him and gave him everything he needed.
Absolutely. So we should take a good part, and that this we always be helpful to others and always have a positive impact on others, right? Thank you so much for listening the story, and we hope that we will implement in our lives
Yeah.
too. Thank you. Stop stimulation.
All right, Astia. It didn't flow before you as well, just because I had to talk through, but you did a great job engaging the students and checking in with them. Just to clarify for everybody, the students were given a worksheet to have in front of them for those
Okay.
3 themes at the answer key, but you did a really good job.
If
kind
it's
of
just a
engaging
closing,
the
so
students.
just make sure that they understand the what's the positive and negative. So
Exactly.
I was like,
You do have some feedback here. It says, good job connecting the story theme to their life. It helps them learn the theme more over the life lessons. Nice job promoting engagement by calling on non-volunteers. Your question content prompted students to draw a parallel to real life situations. Great job restating what the students shared and connecting to their ideas. You did an excellent job. It just doesn't flow quite as well sometimes when people are missing in the middle. So I just wanted to clarify for everyone else.
all right.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Great job. Thank you so much, everyone. You did an excellent job today demonstrating explicit instruction and also giving great feedback to each other. I'm going to share my screen one more time for the reminder. Our next Avatar Lab session is on December 14th. It is covering feedback, which you all had a great opportunity to practice today. But it is giving positive and constructive feedback to guide the students' learning and behavior. I am going to send you all the lesson plan choices and a sign up. Now, as I said, I'm going to send the sign up to those of you who have not participated yet first, and give you an opportunity to sign up, and then I will send it out to everyone a few days later. And I see Lisa's hand up. Lisa?
Okay, I didn't realize I was muted. I said the next Avatar Lab will be related to giving feedback, but I want to compliment all of you for your feedback today, because our last PL session on October 25th was centered around giving feedback. And your work today in giving feedback demonstrated that you processed the strategies and the core components of giving good feedback, and you did that. Your feedback today was specific to the performance of it, or the the actions of a teacher. So I'm proud of you all for already being able to implement specific feedback.
Great, same. I think it went very well, and I know you all are going to be prepared. Those of you who took a risk today, I know if it was your first time, I am so glad. I appreciate you taking the risk. Some of you who trained in the summer, it's been a long time, and so I'm glad you are with us and back in the swing of things, and you will be hearing from us soon. If you have not met with your coach yet, please check your email. Your coaches have reached out to you, and they are available to help you with any of the content that we cover, and really any other things that you need some support with, have questions about. They can observe you and provide feedback. So most of you have at this point, but if you haven't, check your email and see if you have an email from either Lisa Trim or Kathy Brown. Thanks, everyone. Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
So how many, I forget, how many are we like mandated to do? Like how many Avatar Labs do we have to actually teach?
So you don't have to teach every single one. We want to encourage you to teach as many as you can, but some lessons actually have more slots than others. So you're not going to be expected to present everyone for sure. But there's not like a hard number. If I feel like you haven't been participating, then I'll reach out to you and say, please consider registering and signing up. But I know that there's literally not enough time for every person to go every single time. So just know that if for some reason you know that there's going to be an interruption or it's not the best day to do it, reach out to me and don't sign up so that I know. But if you are in Georgia Tap, you do have to participate. You get credit for watching because you're giving feedback to your peers, and there's lots to learn even if you're not the one teaching. So just wanted to clarify that part too. Any other questions? Alrighty, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of your time back then. I know you're busy and you have lots of things to do. So we will see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.